to hear us and see us. But if you have any questions, I pulled up the list of registration a little bit ago because I was sending out the text reminder, and I realized there were a handful of questions in there. So I copied them. But if you have any questions during any of this, if we're talking about something and it sparks an idea or a thought, go ahead and put it either in our chat, or I think we have, you raise your hand or Q&A, and we will get to those. We want to really try to stay on time here because I know everyone's time is very precious right now. So if for some reason we go long and we don't get to those, I will email you personally with hopefully a solution to your question.
That's great. We do like to do that. And let's try to stay on time. I agree, Lori.
Yeah. And so what's fun, what I'm excited, this is always one of my favorite kind of webinars because we encourage everybody to bring their employee, their staff alongside. And some of you guys might be seeing Vonda and Ellie and myself for the very first time. So welcome and nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. We're glad you took the time today to join us. We know that this is going to be a busy holiday season. And what we've learned from some of the chats is there's some brand new people on here who might be very new to a flower shop, the flower industry. And we want to say welcome. It's a crazy ride, but it's a lot of fun. And so just hang in there and learn as much as you can, and it will make your job a lot easier for sure. People are going to be buying flowers. You are there to help them and guide them to make the best selection. It's going to take patience on all of our sides, right? Patience, kindness, and smiles. So if you don't remember anything else, just remember you have to be patient. And we know right now in the marketplace that's hard to do, but we know that brings a lot of, it helps a lot, doesn't it, Lori?
Yeah, it does. And so today, what we want to try to address in our short time are these three main things: how you can talk to customers with ease, how you can navigate different scenarios that you're going to have with customers, and how to sell higher price point products with confidence.
And how do
we're going to do those things. And in order to do those, these are three words I want you to remember, because you're going to implement all three of these with every one of those. You're going to prepare. You're going to be really, really prepared for talking with customers. Number two, you're going to practice. You're going to practice whatever your boss has trained you on, whatever instruction you have. You're going to practice those, and you're going to get super confident, so you'll be more prepared. After you practice, after you prepare all of that, then you're going to proceed out into the front of your store, and you're going to confidently and happily wait on those customers, whether they're in the store or they call you on the phone. So these are things that each one of you, even if you've been around for some of the holidays, right? This year, as we all know, there are going to be little tweaks. It's not always going to be the same, but I think that's the good part about being in this industry, that every season is going to be a little bit different. So things you need to remember: what you're selling, be able to describe to the person over the phone what it is they're wanting to buy. Remember, your goal is to give them that description so that they can visually picture what it is you're sending out. Number two, how to speak. What's the best way to have that conversation with a customer? Number three, you need to have communication skills. I'm not talking about with just your customer. I'm talking about with your entire staff. One of our Flower Click members always puts it, the front of the house needs to know what the back of the house is doing, and the back of the house needs to know what the front of the house is doing. You guys are all on the same team, so you need to be communicating like that. And then the last thing we're going to kind of touch on is simply we implement in our prep schools is a task list for the day. Whether you have a task list as a group or have it just per employee. It would be up to the discretion of your owner. So we know this, a motivated, well-trained team is the best way to boost your sales. If all of you guys are selling and you've all been trained, you're all on the same page, I can promise you your average sales are going to go higher. The key is when you get trained, you have a lot of knowledge, and knowledge is what builds your confidence. Confidence helps when you're talking on the phone because you know what you're talking about. When I talk to somebody and they know exactly, they're like, oh my gosh, I think I know exactly what you are needing. And it's this. I get really excited because I trust them because I'm not the expert. I wanted to share a little story, and I wasn't planning on doing this, but it actually happened to me on Sunday at a restaurant. I was with my husband. We were at just a sit down restaurant. It wasn't fast. Fast food. It wasn't super fancy. It was middle of the road. But we had never been there before. And so I was asking the server, what is your soup of the day? And he was very timid. And he's like, I don't know. I'm going to have to ask. Can I go? Let me ask. And he ran off. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But he didn't go, let me get your drink orders. And when I come back, I'll let you, it was all timid. So he comes back, brings us our waters. And then I was like, hey, did you get that soup order? It's like, oh yeah, it's da-da-da. I said, okay. And then I had one more question, and I promise I'm not a picky eater, but there was a certain salad. I can't remember what I was like, can I get that? I can just get that part not on it, right? And he, again, I don't know. Anyway, I felt sorry for him, but here's the thing. It wasn't his fault. They hadn't given him the skills. They hadn't prepared him well enough to put him out on his own. He should have been under another more experienced server watching, because what I felt like during that time was he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't have a lot of faith in this restaurant right now. It was fine, but that's the vibe he gave off. So that's what I want to caution you guys. The more knowledge you have and the more prepared you are at the beginning, the more confident you're going to sound when you talk to your customers, and the better they're going to feel about their purchase.
Yeah, I love that, Lori. I hadn't heard that story, but
yeah,
and I bet your heart just really
it did. It was all I could do was to go talk to the manager and go, this poor kid is running around like a chicken with his head cut off because he cannot answer he's so ill-equipped, and it is not his fault. It is your fault. So
and that's the whole key, is that we want everyone to be well-equipped and ready for the holiday. And, listening to what we have to say, we have some great tips for you, but that's why we created Prep Schools, is because it's so important for you to be ready, each and every one of you, for the holiday. And what we've done is create these things in a course, a step-by-step, Lori and Ellie and I, and it's just like everything you need to prepare. Now, I have to jump in here and say something about Flower Prep School, because if you're bringing in extra help to even process flowers and wash buckets, Flower Prep School starts at bucket washing and all the basics on there. So some of you could sit somebody in front of a video or 2 or 3 and go, okay, now you can do it. And that's the same with Prep School.
Right. So what our happy accident, if you want to call it that, when we created these, we started with Flower Prep School first, which your goal was to take a delivery driver to a designer. And then we created Sales Prep School. But what we realized is a lot of people were buying them both and using them as complete training courses for new employees and even seasoned employees that maybe needed to learn some new things, maybe needed to try some new things. Here's what we know though: providing employee training gives your staff the tools they need to carry service through the entire season and to offer amazing and consistent customer service. And it is vital for this holiday season. These are just examples of screenshots, I think, aren't they, Vonda, of what all is in?
Just some screenshots. And then this, of course, is the overview of all the videos that are included in Sales Prep School. So So we'll talk a little more in depth at the very end if people want to, you know, I can even log in and kind of show them some stuff. And I don't want to lose sight of the stuff we're going to tell you today that you can actually implement on your own. But we wanted to share this with you in case you just don't have the time to create your own content for your employees. We have it. At least it's a pretty solid foundation that you could easily build upon. So all right, number one, how do you talk to customers with ease? And by ease, I mean comfortably, not like my guy who didn't even know what soup was available. How do you talk to them? And the biggest secret to this question is this: you got to listen first. Listen first and be listening to not only what words they're saying, but as Vonda always talks about, the tone in which they're saying it. There's another quote. This is by Jeffrey Bezos. You might have heard from him. He owns a little company called Amazon. And he says, listening is one of the simplest secrets of customer service. It means hearing what your customers are saying out loud, as well as what they're communicating non-verbally. Watch for signs that they are displeased, that they are overly excited for whatever emotion they're going for at the time, while listening to what they have to say directly. So it is your job to not only listen to what they're saying, but how they're saying it. Right, Vonda? It's an emotional sale. You know, when you're selling flowers, it's not like selling clothes or a gift. I mean, it is an emotional sale, and you need to be able to listen to what they're saying. Is it a special flower they want? Are they wanting something in certain colors? So key into what they're saying, right? So maybe they're not saying anything. Now you have to ask them some questions. There's certain questions you want to ask, like, you know, is there a certain flower that they like? Is there certain colors? Before you just go into, you know, let me tell you what we have. First, listen to what they want, right, Lori?
Right. So one tip I would give every employee when you answer the phone and, you know, you introduce yourself and you, what can I do for you? And they want to, let's pretend they want to send flowers to their wife. You're going to ask them a few questions. Well, tell me about your wife. Ask them questions using some of the words that they already said. That does two things psychologically to us. Number one, it tells them that you're listening. Oh my gosh, they just kind of, they listen. They ask me using some of that same language. Number two, it tells them that you want to know more. You care. You want to further the relationship. I know that sounds cheesy, but that's basically what it is. It is relationship selling. That's what it is. So you're going to ask them a couple more questions, like, what's your wife's favorite color? Do you know? Well, yeah, it's yellow. She loves yellow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, what's her style? Does she like tall, super put together, traditional style, or is she more organic, kind of airy, flowy? What does she like? What do you think? You're building relationship with this person. It's not going to take an hour. It may take a couple of more minutes than it would on a normal call, but I always think that you're depositing, you're putting deposits in this person. You're putting deposits, and you're building this trust. And the more they tell you about them, the more you're going to be able to know exactly what this woman would love. And that's exactly what you'd say to them. Okay, I think I know the perfect thing. And I can guarantee you, almost every single time, whatever comes out of your mouth next, they're going to go, that sounds great. Yes, that would be great, because you listened and you described back to them pretty much what they were just saying to you.
And no, don't be surprised if they say, I don't know, just, you know, she likes flat. She just likes flat. So then you would probably change it, Lori, right? And go to something more on the table, or you want something for the kitchen, you know.
Yeah, you might have to ask more questions.
Yeah, just ask more questions. You know, unless you can tell they're really just wanting to get you off the phone, then you want to do that too. Okay. So this is what we know, right? These are the things that we need from each of you as a salesperson, whether you're answering the phone part-time or all the time.
Yes, you need to be able to communicate with your designer. Wait, go back to that one just one second.
Ryan, sorry. There you
go. You need to know what's in your cooler, what's in there to sell. Vonda, and we're going to do a little bit deeper dive on cooler stuff later. Create your selling descriptions. I'm going to talk about that later too, but keep that in mind. It's really important for each one of you employees to know what your comfort zone is in selling. How do you like to describe things? Not all of you are going to say the same thing. Just like Vonda and I, if we were to describe the same arrangement, I can promise you we would use different language as far as descriptions. Visual picture, every time you're talking to the customer, keep in mind what they need to know is size-wise. Size meaning not the exact size. They need to know size. Will it look beautiful on a dining room table, or will it look better on a nightstand? Is it going to look beautiful on a center island, or is it going to look dwarfed on a center island? That's what I mean by size. Style, just what I was saying earlier. Is it airy, flowy, tall, traditional? And colors, do they like pastels? Do they like bold colors? Do they like organic shades? What is it? So that, all of that language is what helps paint that picture in your customer's mind over the phone. Centerpieces. We're going to talk about centerpieces a little bit later in our Say This, Not That. And then Vonda's going to talk about the importance of being aware of what's on your website.
Right. And go back to that communication with designers. That's the one where you said the front room needs to know what the back room is doing and vice versa.
Yep.
Really important, that communication.
Yes, it's really, really important, because the front salespeople may have no idea that, you know, right now, sometimes you get your flowers and you're like, huh, why did I get these? I didn't mean to get these. And it's whatever was available. Your front of the house people don't really know. You need to be communicating, hey, what could be some of our designs for the day? What would you like me to try to sell? Do we have an abundance of sunflowers, you know, that we would like to, and I hate to say things like push out, like it's bad inventory. It's not at all. It's just, you have an abundance of beautiful sunflowers. You want to get them out the door before they're not beautiful anymore. Right? So this is another example of preparing for the day. We have all of the people in our sales training program, they have one of these. We actually have it laminated. And you can do this two ways. You can have one per shop, or you can have each individual employee, if they have different tasks every day, they can do that. What I like about this one is we have it laminated to where 8, 9, and 10 are interchangeable. You can write, because you're going to have new tasks depending on the season. And then on this one, you can also, you know, mark out with the dry erase if you don't want to, I don't know, do number 7, like take a deep breath and smile for that day. If you're not in the mood, you just cross it out. But this is one more tool to have in place somewhere. Because Vonda, you have always said, and you even say this in flower design school, there shouldn't be a lot of standing around time. Like there's always something to do in a flower shop.
There's always something to do. Exactly. And this helps remind them, you know, reminds you if, oh my gosh, I do need to check with the designers, or Maybe I need to take a photo of the current gifts and post them on Facebook and Instagram if I have that. And it reminds you to do the double check back with the manager. So this is just a great preparing for the day. Love it.
Yeah. And one thing I do want to talk about, taking photos, fresh designs, fresh, neat things that are happening around your shop. Instagram, social media. If some of you youngsters are on TikTok, I mean, create an account for your shop. Help if your owner doesn't have it, say, hey, I love that stuff. Let me create this for you. Let me do some stuff. I promise you, you're going to get followers. You're going to get more customers. You're going to get your brand out there more. But it takes every one of you to have to take these pictures, and they don't have to be perfect pictures.
So Lori, you've gone over all of that stuff that I need to try to think about. Now, how can I be more confident in making the sales?
Right. So to be more confident, just like the first one, the big secret was to listen. This one, to be more confident in your selling, is practice. That's the only way. It's just like to get better at whatever craft or skill you want to learn is practice, practice, practice. When you practice something over and over, you gain more knowledge, more education, whatever you want to call it. You have all of the training tools in place. Right. You have more confidence. And then if you're like me, the more I study something and the more I learn, the more I'm excited to share that information with other people, because, hey, guess what I just learned? That's what you need to do with your customers. I just learned we have an abundance of sunflowers back here. Oh my gosh, they're gorgeous. Share that information. What is this? Oh, what?
And get excited about it, because that excitement goes on to your customer when you are excited about something. And like we're seeing here, even in the holiday sales script. So these are scripts that you fill in the blank, because as Lori said, you need to use your own language. So this allows you to know, just fill in the blanks and make
it. Right. And when you have these, and I know this is awkward. I know it's awkward, but this is how you get better. This is where the practice part comes in. Practice saying this to your counterpart, to other employees, when you guys have a little extra time here and there, or just say it out loud when you're walking around. Be silly about it, because the more you do it, the more it's just going to become second nature to you.
So This is a fun one here, Lori.
And you have a story for this.
We have a lot of stories here, and I know that everyone who owns a flower shop or worked in a flower shop for a little bit of time has a scenario that you wished you could say what was on your mind. Right. So we also have say this, not that, but in this scenario, we had a customer who would come in all the time, and she would say, I have this vase and I want $15 worth of flowers to put in my vase. So, which is hilarious, right? Because you're like, this big vase, and you're like, no. So then you would have to try to walk her through. If you have a smaller vase, you can do this. Well, finally, I get the story from the lady who says, well, you guys are much nicer, because down the street, when I brought this in, they said to me, okay, I'll do it. Come back and pick it up. And when she came back to pick up the arrangement, it was only half done. It was truly only half done. And she's like, well, wait a minute. She said, I wanted a whole arrangement. And he said, well, you didn't pay for a whole arrangement. So the thing is, you could tell that person had it, that designer, the owner.
And I get it.
And they made that decision, right, that not to do it anymore. So here we go with, that's not something that you would normally say.
Right.
Unless you were like, you had it up to here, right?
Right. And this goes along with practice, under practice. everyone is going to have, like Vonda just said, every one of you on this call, especially you that have been in this industry for a while, could probably call me after this and tell me a funny story, which I would love, because I love funny stories about something you overheard a new employee, a way they responded on the phone or in front of, that you were just like, it's one of those slow motions where you couldn't get to the phone fast enough to grab it before what came out of their mouth. So we thought, to be better prepared for the holidays, go through some of those scenarios that might happen or situations, and talk to your team about, okay, what if someone calls, or what if a person comes in and they write, I want $15 worth of flowers in this. How are we going to respond? And you, as the business owner, it's going to have to come from you. You might be like the other one, and says, I'd put 2 little things in it and go, there you go, because you don't want them as a customer. Or you might just grin and bear it. Whatever it is, you need to make sure and prepare your staff. This is how we're going to deal with issues like this. These on this, how you respond to make or break. I know it's hard to see, but we have the struggle on say not this, say this. The struggle is the scenario. And then we say that you might respond some way like this. The not this section is where our real life responses from stories I heard from some of our Flower Click members who own stores. One of my favorite ones was when they called to order the centerpiece. They wanted a $50 centerpiece for a table of, I don't know, a full Thanksgiving table, like 12 people. And the person, the newer employee, responded with, are you kidding me? Maybe for the kids' table, but that's going to be way too small. So it was one of those things. I think it's very funny, but it offended them because it was in the tone. And so maybe you want to pause before you respond, if that's the first thing that comes to your mind. So prepare in advance with, okay, this is what I'd like to say, but probably what I would say is something like, you know what, we can make a delightful little centerpiece for $50, but I fear it's going to really look dwarfed on that table. We can maybe do 2 small $35 ones, one on each end, and then add some candles or whatever. But think through how you're going to respond to some of these, because what happens is, I think when you had that woman, I don't know if Google reviews were as big of a deal as they are now. So now people are going to come in and you're going to say, maybe for the kids' table, and they're going to comment. So you either need to be okay with that or ready to rebut, right, the review.
Well, I think a lot of it is just educating the customer. The customer doesn't know what $50 is going to get them.
They do not.
So hopefully you would have something either in the store that you can show them. Here is a $50 arrangement. Now this one is, $99 or $149 to get a nice size table arrangement for 12 at a table. So right. You've been educating them if they're in the store, or if they're on the phone, you might take them to your website. Hopefully you have some designs on the website and you can say, you know what, I'm going to ask you to go on the website while I'm on the phone with you, and right. Let's look at some designs so I can show you visually what your money would get you. Because right. I think that's it. We're trying to paint a visual picture, and their mind says 50, but they don't know the value of flowers, I think is what it comes down to.
And again, all the way back to the very beginning, when we talked about, think about your tone of voice too, when you're talking, don't be condescending, be mindful. Like I'm concerned, use language like that. I'm concerned this is going to look really small, and you might not like what you got. It might not be what you're visualizing. So again, why it's so important to give them size, not exact dimensions, but so this would look way better if it was at like a round kitchen table that, maybe sits 6 people. It would probably be fine there. So have a few little solutions in your back pocket. I think one you guys are going to have more frequently right now is them calling for a specific flower. And you can't get the flower right now. It's either on a container somewhere by Miami. I don't know, but that's the realities. You're going to be dealing with a lot of that. And if that happens, I just think honesty is always the best policy, but then you rephrase it with, but here's what we can do. Right. We can still maintain those deep red colors you want. We're just going to have to switch it out. Instead of the carnations, we're going to have whatever. But just be honest and upfront, but still you got to have a solution. You always need to have a solution for them. You never want to just say, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have those. That's another one that
keep them on the line, keep them trying to satisfy them with something you have in the store that you can supply to them. And they're going to be over the moon excited, because once you tell them you don't have something, they don't know what to do after then.
Right.
Like Lori said, we need a solution.
Right. Always have a solution. And if you're newer and you're feeling a little freaked out, maybe you've had a really busy day and you're on the phone with this person and you just can't come up with a solution, like right off the bat, it is okay to say, you know what? I know we have a solution. Let me check with my manager really quick, or my designer. She's going to know exactly what we should do, because you're telling them, hey, stay here. I'm running to get help. I'll be right back. They're like, okay, I can do that. But if you just, going back to my poor server, go, I don't know. I guess I could go ask. Like, no, I'll just call the next shop.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we move on to selling higher priced premium products, but with confidence, right? So many times people are afraid to sell a higher priced arrangement because we're like, oh, $50 is a lot of money, or $75 is a lot of money. But, Lori, it's like you said, people come into your shop because you're the professional florist. If they wanted a low end arrangement, more than likely they could go to a big box store, right? Or to a grocery store and get something.
They could. Go ahead.
You are the premium florist, right? So
right. And that's why people are calling you. And here's where the mind shift has to take place within us. Because I think I have never met somebody in this industry that is a flower shop owner or works in a flower shop. They work so hard. They just want to please. You want to make your customer happy. I'm sure there's others that out there that don't care, but the ones I've met have. And when we do that, sometimes we just assume, okay, I would never be able to buy a $225 arrangement. I would never offer that as an option. That would be rude. But I want you to think about this. They're probably not on the same budget as you put yourself on. There's a very high probability you guys are on two different budgets. They're not going to think it's rude if you say, we have this and it's gorgeous, and you list all the wonderful things about it that they want to give to the wife. Maybe they want to spend a $225 on an arrangement for their wife or their mother. You have to at least give them the option.
Yeah. And I think the one important point to make to everybody who's maybe new or hasn't been doing a lot of sales is all the years of experience, and shop owners could tell you this, the most complaints you get are on the smaller low-end arrangements. Because their expectation was something, oh my gosh, I spent $30, $40 and I should get a lot of flowers. Well, we know, especially now with everything's going on, that's not much. And when you are sending something that's a bigger, more beautiful, lush, gorgeous arrangement, even though they've spent more money, there are very few complaints in that department. So high end really does satisfy the customer even actually better.
Right. So you were talking about the big box stores. And so here's here's just a challenge for all of you that are going to be answering the phone. Remind yourself daily, your job is to focus on the client, not your competition. You don't need to worry about how much Kroger grocery store is selling their flowers. They're not your competitor. People are calling you guys to pay for your quality and your expertise.
That's
it's
right.
A very big difference.
Huge difference. Well, two tools that will really help you when you're selling. And one is your cooler. Your cooler should be fully stocked. This is just a great picture. Well, the picture itself is not great, but it is a great cooler, just chocked full of all different price ranges of flowers for when the person comes in or you're on the phone, you can look at that, but also your website. Remember that at least 70% of the people who are calling you on the phone or walk in your door have already looked at your website. So what they're seeing here is the range of prices that are available at your store. Here I'm seeing $69 to $149. So now you're setting yourself up for success because of that range. But you as an employee need to know, especially what's on this homepage, because they've probably looked at that when they walked in the door. So Lori, you're going to talk a little bit about the cooler.
Well, right. And I know before I get to the cooler, we have somebody that's a raised hand. Heidi Cleary, you have your hand raised. Oh, if you want to, now you just undid it. If it was an accident, you're forgiven, no big deal. But if you did want to talk, I see your hand and I'm happy to unmute you. So just go ahead and click it again if you want to. And I'll be trying to watch while I do that. Some people are going to be listening to the cooler thing and wanted their first reaction, and rightly so, is, you know what, we don't have a lot of walk-ins. We pretty much do web orders and just phone. But here's the deal. When I'm selling, when I'm on the phone and someone is wanting a recommendation and it is 3:30 in the afternoon and I haven't had my caffeine and my brain has burned up all the calories it's going to burn because I've talked too much all day, I need to be able to look over in that cooler and go, what do we need to move out? Right? I need to have different price points, different colors, so that I can look right over and go, you know what? I am looking at the most gorgeous lilies or orchid or whatever. I'm looking at it right now. It's drop dead gorgeous. Our designers just made it and put it in the cooler. I think it would be the perfect thing for you. That's why, because there are just times we can't pull it out of our mind. But if you don't have a lot of walk-in, you don't need like this many, but you still want color and size. The other thing with the holidays, and I know I said it earlier, but if you're a newer employee, you got to know you're going to have so many last minute calls for Christmas dinner parties or quick corporate events. Like, oh my gosh, we totally forgot to order centerpieces for our dinner party and we have 6 tables. Is there anything you can come up with? I mean, you have to be prepared for those. Of course, you're going to look at your manager and go, can you do this? We can do this, right? But you need to be able to look at your cooler and go, you know what? I think we can make it work. Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff's going to be happening all the time. That's why you need to be prepared with knowing what's in your cooler and also what's on your homepage.
Right. So on your website, that's why you need, again, to have that to be able to, you can refer back to, oh yeah, we can do plants. See, this is just a great screenshot because it's showing me that we have plants, we have arrangements at $55, $69, $99. Or you know what, we can do a seasonal custom design. Let my designers do their thing because they can work magic. And here it is at $89. We can do it at $100. We can do it at $125. So give them some different price ranges that you can do it at. But this is like a menu. Cami Martin, who's our web manager, always says that. It's like, this is like a menu that you,
just like at a restaurant.
Just like in a restaurant. So use that. And then your last P word here.
My last P word. So you have prepared, you have practiced your scripts, you've practiced your scenarios, you've practiced all of your stuff. You've practiced your Instagram photos, you've done all your stuff. Now your last P is to proceed. Now you just start doing what you're going to do best, and you're going to have all the confidence you need. You need to just go for it. You're going to take everything that you've prepared and practice for. The one thing I want to tell you is this: do not get in your own way. Do not let that doubt of confidence go, oh, I don't know. What if I can't do this? What if I can't do this? I can't tell you how many times I have talked with business owners. I'm sure we have some on here because I mean, this probably happens once every other week. I'll get a call from a shop who had kind of a newer employee, and they were a little skeptical of the sales training and like, how do I sell a $225 arrangement? But they started seeing some of the other more seasoned employees. Well, they were doing it. They did it. They were scared, but they did it. And they're like, oh, they got such a rush, such a high from it. And everybody celebrated with them because, again, you're a team. Everybody celebrates the wins together. That's what you do after you have prepared and practiced. Then you proceed and you sell those premium products. Like Vonda said, you will sell more premium than you will the low end, because people that call your shop, that is what they're wanting. So don't ever doubt that you shouldn't be offering those products. So here's the thing: training does take time up front. It does. But I can promise you, if you don't have training in place when you are bringing customer or employees in, it's going to take more time and more money upfront for you to just walk them through willy-nilly, and then they get frustrated and leave. I had a shop tell me last week that she said, I hired 3 new people, and she put them straight into our prep school and the flower prep school. And she said, one of them succeeded, 2 of them bailed. And she said, but here's what it taught me. I did not spend nearly the amount of time and energy that I would have had to with them one-on-one, away from growing my business, right? They just were like, I don't want to do this training. They lasted like a couple of videos and then just never showed up. So yes, it's a bummer, but it could have been so much worse. You know, and the other one, he just went through it in flying colors, and he's, you know, doing a great job. To owners, I think, Vonda, this was yours. Invest in yourself, invest in your business, invest in your team, and you will see it come back to you tenfold.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there's Flower Prep School, which has 60 plus videos, tutorials. You know, it's just packed with information that, as an owner, I'm talking to the owners right now, and it used to be, we had time. We really had time to take and mentor a person through the process to teach them to design, you know, but this will teach them from how to use a knife correctly, to make a bow, to do dish gardens, you know, everything you need to have that assistant in your shop and learn to design. And then sales prep school.
Yeah, sales prep school. Well, I mean, it says what we've talked about.
Yeah.
And here's the thing we haven't talked about. These our prep school courses for a business owner, you do look at it as an investment, but it's a one-time investment. You buy it, you're done. It's not like it's a monthly fee. And we do add to it yearly. We're always putting in new videos, new whatever that we think it needs to be, based on the feedback we get from shops. So it is an investment, but you have it forever. So unless you're planning to get out of the business in the next 6 months,
it's worth the investment.
It's worth the investment. If you're getting ready to retire, then maybe not. You know, it's probably not. So this lists everything that has in it. Again, lifetime. It is available it's mobile friendly, which is really, really cool for a lot of the youngsters out there. Everyone can have They're individual logins. So each employee I will create logins for. And what's good about that is it's trackable. So I can pull progress reports for each employee and send to you or to the employee, hey, here's where you are. Do you need any help? Do you need to go over anything? That is my job. That is what I do for Flower Click. So I'm always there to be a sounding board or a tutor or whatever you need me to be when you're in this program.
Yeah, it's great. Great information. And there's a special going on. The enrollment is open now. If you enroll during this time, then there's a free bosses bonus, which really helps for the onboarding and how to manage that. If you want to stick around, we're going to go ahead and go through the module a little. Lori, don't you want to do a little dive?
Yeah, I can do that. If people want to look at it, I was going to just show them some of my favorite things. My favorite thing is our scenarios, say this, not that, just because it's funny. And the sales scripts themselves are really powerful. We've got a couple comments here. Oh, Christy Doonan, that's hilarious when we were talking about say this, not that, this interview. But I'm sure everyone here has wanted to say that at one time or the other, but I know it's not a good business. Denise wants to say, I just wanted to say that in my old shop, the display coolers were so old, we didn't have much walk-in traffic and they weren't very energy efficient. So we only use them during holidays. When we actually had people, they have since moved. She's got a really cool new store. She said, when we actually had people come in, they thought we didn't ever have any flowers because there was nothing in the coolers. So she said, we used to have a walk-in cooler that was in the back, but now having one showcase for customers is definitely better. So that's good. That's good advice. I've noticed more and more shops do have displays. I mean, the pictures that we had here, we took from one of our Flower Click members. He posted, It was just gorgeous. He's like, just filled it all.
He's like, I'm ready for Monday morning because he was working on Sunday, getting everything ready. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So here's the format of Sales Prep School. You can see by the content, the first part where it is sectioned off is the basics. If you go to the workbook, Vonda, just click on the workbook at the top, just real quick. Here's the thing, when people purchase this program, you get a binder in the mail that has all of this plus some more stuff. But we have had a lot of shops say just having this binder has been a game changer because we really did think of every single thing possible that you could use to train your staff, and your staff can just go through this. It goes right along with the videos and it's just one-stop shopping. The most work an owner has to have, quite honestly, when you purchase this is you have to go through it too, because you have to know what your staff is going to be seeing. Again, everyone has to be on the same page. So you don't have to create the content. You just have to watch the content. So is this sales prep or this is,
yeah, this is sales prep.
Yeah. And you will see in here, we have little click tips. These are, we actually went back after we created the content and we added click tips because we had beta testers go through it and then tell us, hey, you know what, we liked here, but I wish you would have given a little advice on this. This is a problem we see. So we are always listening and always adding little videos to the program because we love education. We don't feel like you can never have enough.
Well, and it's based on real life experiences from shops who have shared that with us, and you bring those to the table and make it. And this is really helpful for new employees, is common and popular flowers and foliage.
Yes, that's Vonda does this. I'm going to interrupt you because you did a fabulous job on the common and popular foliage and the styles, how to describe different types. And you also, in the workbook, you put pictures of all of common and popular flowers that somebody working in a flower shop needs to be aware of these basics.
Well, we'll say Ellie put all those in there,
Well,
but that's
Ellie,
okay.
yes. But you came up with which flowers. Yeah,
then practice makes perfect, so we have different practices for that you and I go through scenarios. So I think the beauty of this program and Flower Prep School is that it's not just us standing there talking to you. It's very interactive, and it doesn't make anybody feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything. One of my favorite comments with Flower Prep School, because we actually walked Lori through making an arrangement. And they said, oh my gosh, that Lori doesn't know anything, does she? And so
I've had people say that their employees are like, man, if Lori can do it, I can do it. I mean, I am not, I can sell anything, but designing is hard. It's very hard, in my opinion. We have questions here. If you purchase the program, does it update with the new click tips? Yes, we're always adding. And if you scroll all the way down, Vonda, to very bottom, I think, well, wait, maybe up a little bit. Ellie, oh, no, we added, because we haven't needed to add to sales. In the design one, she added new, because you put we had 4 different new design courses in there. Another thing we talk about in here is taking it up a notch, a little bit of advanced sales. And that is for, after you get really good at just the basics, take it up a level.
Yep. So I was trying to get back to.
Oh, just hit the arrow at the top.
Over here?
You should be able to. It takes you back. Let me see. Do we have other questions?
Yeah, see if you have any other questions.
Not really. No. And if anyone have any questions, we don't have any hands raised.
There we go.
If you're
Janet has her hand raised.
Oh, here. Let me see. I can't raise. Where? On hand raised over here?
It says 2 participants raised their hands.
Wow, I can't. Oh, let me see here. Janet. Yep, Janet Gould. Hey, Janet, you are unmuted, but I think you might be muted on your side. Oh, there. Are you there?
Do you have a microphone on the computer?
Microphone.
Maybe put it in the chat, whatever you were going to say or question you have.
Let me see. Oh, she asked, how much is it?
So let me go to learn.
I don't know why she must not have a microphone. Janet, you must not have a microphone. That's fine.
This is the link that we had in the notes, and that was learn.flowerclick.com. And so this is the website that has that information. Ellie, do you want to jump in and talk about this a little?
She just put it in the chat. She's not coming back on.
Okay, got it.
Here.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, I mean, I put the link in the chat, so you can go to that. Okay. You can buy, there's buttons here where you can purchase all the different ones. We offer either a one-time payment or the option to split the payments into 4, I think 4 or 2, depending on the price. So you can get the bundle and you save money, or you can get just Flower Prep School or just Sales Prep School. And then, of course, I know a lot of our members are on this session. We also have member pricing, which are significant discounts. And those are, you can check out in our member portal with those unique links with the discounted pricing. Yeah, like Lori mentioned, you get the binder, the workbook.
And the boss's bonus.
And the boss's bonus, which Lori, Lori worked her tail off on that, and we're really excited.
Great information. Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, but you get the physical workbook. If you get both of them, you get a physical workbook for both, or like the printouts for Flower Prep School and Sales Prep School. Apron, notepad, fun little goodies that we mail you so that it feels a little more physical. You know, I think that was one of our things when we were creating these programs, is like they're so digital and online that we wanted you to be able to receive something in the mail and get excited about it and, you know, make it feel real. So yeah, that is it. Yeah, I would encourage everybody to go to that link. You can listen to, like, we have some testimonials there. We have some written testimonials down the page.
Yeah. And the other thing is, if you have, like, if you're looking for something specific in the program, reach out to me. Just shoot me an email or give me a call. I'm happy to do a Zoom with you, and I can show you the label, like the titles of each thing. And heck, maybe we won't have something that you think we should have, and I'll learn. We'll have to do it. You never know. But this has a lot of good information on this website. And then we like to open the enrollment and then close it, because then I always like to take that group that just joined and kind of work them along. Because once you join, one of the first things you're going to do is have a one-on-one with me, you as the owner, and we're going to kind of have our own little mini orientation where I'm going to walk you through how most people use it, and give you other little ideas. So I'm always going to be there to help you execute it if needed.
And you do that very well.
I also put Lori's calendar in the chat. So if anybody wants to schedule an appointment, kind of a demo, you can go through that. And I don't know if you guys mentioned, November 12th is our last day of enrollment. So you guys have about a week, a little bit longer than a week, to make this decision. Yeah. And then it won't be back open till after all the holidays. We do have some even Valentine's Day specific in the content of Prep School, along with Mother's Day. So anyway, I think we are at the top of the hour, Vonda.
Yes, we are. And we really appreciate everybody being here and taking the time. I know that with what Lori has shared, what we've shared with you, with what you are staff, and this is your very first time learning about flowers, or if you're seasoned and been through as many as I have, and the staff here too, I know that there's always something that's a reminder that you take away and you're like, oh yes, I've got to remember to do that. So we wish you the best holiday season. Know that we're here if there's anything we can do to help. As a Flower Click member, you get a really great discount on the courses. If you're not a Flower Click member and you're interested in the courses, please go ahead and purchase those, or first reach out to Lori. And, you know, maybe with the discount that you see there, it might be worth it for you to become a member. We would love to have you be a member of the Click. So we appreciate your time today. Anything else, Lori, Ellie?
Happy holidays.
There we go.
All right. Thanks.